One of the biggest problems that the players have today is the constant new loops that are introduced, and with those new loops, all the currencies are added every single month. This becomes a problem not just because the players are getting sick of having to try to keep up with all the loops without having a way to really get rid of old loops. Although they have introduced some things into the game, which we won't get into in this video, but they have introduced some things in the game like the X-Borg that have helped to do that. But what ends up coming with all these new loops is the massive amount of new currencies. And some months are worse than others, but it's become a big problem. And why is that a big problem? That becomes a big problem because our inventory has become this mammoth, or massive, I should say, massive black hole. It feels like where inventories go to die. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at our inventory system, then it's clear to see that it's hard to find stuff. I get asked once in a while, hey, Grand Admiral Hunter, where is this? I'm like, I don't know. So I have to scroll through the inventory, sometimes 2 or 3 times through the materials of the other tab, trying to find the stupid inventory, so I can tell them, oh, look here. So it's become a big problem, and we need to tell Scopely that and find some solutions. Why? Because the players matter. All right, hello again, commenters. Hopefully you all are doing well today. In today's video, we're going to go into the inventory and talk about the inventory system. And I have 1 or 2 thoughts that I would suggest that, Scopely, if you're watching this video, that you implement to the game as soon as possible. Or secondly, since I have no guarantee of what kind of traction this may get with Scopely, I encourage each of you, in the kindest, respectful way possible, to send a ticket to Scopely and say, here's changes that we need in the game concerning inventory. So let's hop in, let's talk about it. Before we do, a couple of quick announcements or comments. One, if you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please do so. It really does help get this video pushed out to more people, helps to grow the channel. Also hit the thumbs up and the bell notification so you can become aware of future content as it is released. Secondly, just a reminder that I have started streaming on Twitch. Some of you may not be familiar with that, how it works, and that's totally fine. It's just a fun way where we can live stream. I can answer your questions to the best of my ability, help you all out. I learn from you as well. It's a really, really fun, not only doing Star Trek Fleet Command, but I've been trying to add some other games or activities to it, like Jackbox games. We did that on our last stream. It was loads of fun, but it's fun with more people. So feel free to join us, share this video, share my channel, and share the stream out with your alliance and with your servers. I'd love to see you all and hang out with you and get to know you a little bit better. Okay, so let's hop into it. Let's talk about this a little bit. So let's start with the materials tab, we'll call it. And let's just look at some of the things here. I remember when this first upgraded section used to be much shorter, but now there's so much stuff before you actually get to what used to be the material section, like the uncommon, common, rare materials and so forth. So we've got some Borg stuff here. I know there's some Borg stuff on the other section. There's some sarcophagus, some away teams. This intelligence stuff is 50 plus, so if you're not 50 plus, that may not be something you're familiar seeing. Cerritos stuff. I have some cloaking shards, and I have to tell you that I have unlocked the cloak. I miscounted or something. I ended up getting some more, so I have extra. I'll never use those, so that's kind of wasteful. There's some fleet commander stuff. I have 1 Defiant cloaking shard. I wonder if I'll ever unlock that. I maxed my Defiant, so you know this stuff is just gonna sit there taking up inventory space. Oh, and then there's the artifacts. Artifacts could be in their whole new section, guys. And I guess my first recommendation is that we need a massive cleanup here, an organization, if you will, if nothing else, Scopely, where there's some of this stuff that takes up so much space that I either need to go straight to this or I scroll past it. And I think that artifacts is definitely something that there's so many of them that they could go into their own section, their own tab, if you will. Okay, and then we got some Voyager stuff. There's some more artifacts. Monavine, there's new currencies as well for the Mirror Universe. It just keeps adding up, doesn't it? Okay, so finally we get to the materials and parts section. And most of this stuff, yeah, that's materials and parts to me. Okay, that's fine. I think that's good. So this is what I may want to get to when I come to materials, but there's so much junk at the beginning I have to scroll through. Just look at it. It just keeps going. So this needs some better organization. That's the problem with releasing so many loops. They fail to, Scopely fails to catch these little things that need to be kind of cleaned up once in a while. And I don't think it should be that hard. Okay, let's talk about this here. A couple things I'll just point out, and we're kind of just beating the dead horse, I think they call it here, but Borg points. User scoring in January Borg event. This is when the Borg event first came out. It's a scoring mechanic. It shouldn't be an inventory. Let's clear that out. This other Borg stuff, war funds, that's fine. Borg war effort point. User scoring the Mega Cube event. Okay, that's passed. Don't need that in here. I've got these mission items right here. That's great, but put that in its own section. And some of this stuff, okay, directives and credits. Yeah, that's good. That's good to see all that. Okay, fine. Doomsday stuff. TOS. Okay. We'll use that again. I don't know. That's not something I regularly look at. They're probably going to release another TOS update maybe at some point. Romulan Conquest Romulan token shows commitment to the Romulan and Conquest event. Okay. Who cares? There's just stuff in here that's such a waste. All these refits. Refits could be in their own section. That would make it so, because sometimes I want to see the refits and I have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the other tab here to see that. Okay. So yeah, such a pain. Inventory becoming very bloated. And I think part of the problem too, don't work in IT, but I think part of the problem is that every time that you have to load this, they have to query the servers to see what you have in your inventory. What if you got rid of some of this inventory? Would that help with lag? I don't know, but it certainly would add to my satisfaction in the game where I didn't have to waste all my time. Time is a big factor in this game. We all know that with all the loops they have. But gosh, if they would just find some way to organize this into other sections. Now, it's a pain when you have to scroll right and left. I get that. What if they did something like what they have with the refinery here? You put all these tabs on the side and it's a lot easier to get to what you're looking for. So I would suggest if they're going to organize it, surely they have the coding in order to do something like this, right? You think? Maybe not. Maybe that's too hard. We're asking too much. So here's the second option. And I've mentioned this before. It's come from my Admiral in my alliance. Fantastic idea. But what about having a monthly event where you have a traveling Ferengi that comes around to buy all your useless junk? Now, what you can trade that in for, that could be up for discussion, right? But what about all these useless ship blueprints that I'm never going to use? 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. I'm getting quite a collection of blueprints. If I hop here into the G5 area, let's go with grade. Well, let's start here. Look at some of this. Backless. Almost 17,000, 18,000. These, they're just taking up inventory, taking up space. Okay. What do I have here? Now, some of these are more valuable. These not as much for me, maybe for some of you to be able to scrap, and we know they have a mechanic for that. I did just put out a video about ship parts that hopefully will help some of you and give some thoughts out there. Let's see here. I could build a couple of jellyfishes, for example. But there's some of these ship parts, especially those in the lower ones, that I'm never going to use. Northcutt, I don't see me ever building more unless I can get more ship parts, so that's something to consider. But I'm starting to get a collection of these ship parts that I may or may not build. But I think the main point is the really, really useless stuff to me now is the 3-star, 3 and 2-star, I would say. Well, the way down here. So how about I build? Maybe I can trade those in for resources. Materials, I get that suspending thing for Scopely. People spend for that. What if I could trade them in for speed ups? What if I could trade some of these in for maybe faction credits? And maybe it's not the same. Maybe it's not the same amount, you know, that you would buy them for, so you'd a lower return on it. But at least allow me to get something, so I don't have to go through the pain of building and upgrading and tiering these ships. So that's just one thought there. So give it a chance, you know. I think having a Traveling Ferengi that can come in and clear out those ship parts, clear out the useless stuff we have in our inventory would be fantastic. It would really make the management of the inventory so much easier, so much cleaner. Another option is, since it's Ferengi, and since I don't know about everyone else, but I do have this growing need to get Latinum in the game. So rather than adding another loop in which players would have to go and mine more stuff, what if you were to make it so that you could trade in stuff to the Traveling Ferengi for Latinum? Just an idea. Latinum and speed-ups would go a long ways in helping in this game for some of those players who are stuck. Like, I get stuck on certain things in the game that I can't do enough research, not because I don't have the resources and materials to do so, but I don't have the speed ups. I don't have the Latinum to do it. So that would be huge to me as a player to be able to know, okay, I've got this mechanic that I can go out and farm and get all these blueprints and trade them in once in a while to get what I need to complete these spend events, which would lower the amount that I have and maybe encourage some players to actually buy more packs potentially. I don't know. Just kind of throwing some ideas against the wall here, but there's a lot of different options that Scopely could take with a Traveling Ferengi and make that as a viable option in the game for you and I to be able to trade in our useless junk for things that actually matter, that actually help us in our gameplay, actually make it more enjoyable, instead of getting all this useless stuff that we have. I have to tell you that it's either common that I can pay Latinum for, common materials that I'm struggling with in G5 or have been, or the rares. I mean, in the G5 area, I've got 157,000 crystal, 357,000 gas, just looking at uncommon. So being able to spend some of those easier because I had a better source of speed ups or Latinum would be a huge thing for me in this game. So a number of different options, a number of different thoughts, but I think it's time that we take a stand and we say, you know what, Scopely, we need to have a better system that organizes the inventory system, or we need to have a way to clear it out. Bring a Traveling Ferengi into the game. Not only do I think that would really help the players, but I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be awesome to have another way that the Ferengis could come into the game. Paying us Latinum would actually be kind of comical, and it would kind of fit with the Ferengi. So anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What thoughts do you have on the inventory system? How do you manage finding things? And do you agree, or are there other thoughts you have that might organize this a little bit better for Scopely? Anyways, look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next time.